Good morning, my name's Clint Adams. I'm the director or managing director or CEO, depending on what term you want to use, depending on what part of the world you're in, of Waterpro and Railways. Waterpro is an 11-year-old business specialising in the supply of irrigation equipment to the trade, retail, homeowner, up to large commercial. We're in Kent Town in South Australia. We've been here for about 7 years, but the business is 11 years old. About 10 months ago, I don't even know what month we're in, so September last year I settled on a business called Railways, which is at Ranella, which is about 40 minutes south of where I am now. That business is a 40-year-old business, and they supply landscape supplies to the trade and the retail, so same market segments just mentioned, but completely different product mix, different demographic, different team, existing team, all that jazz. And I've got a little fertiliser brand that I've started about 3 years ago called Lawn Hub as well, which we sell out of Waterpro and online. So that's me.
So at Waterpro, you've got something that's quite unique to your industry. I haven't seen this in any other organisations like yours, but your 12 Immutable Laws of Waterpro. So firstly, can you tell us what the laws are, and then how much you think these laws have shaped what Waterpro is, and remember about the bleep that we talked about?
I'm not sure I can tell you all of them. I promised you I wouldn't swear. So the 12 Immutable Laws of Waterpro, and they probably are of Railways now, they're kind of my business values, are the 12 rules that my team and I use when we're unsure about a decision or a direction that we need to take. So they're designed to be our moral compass, I guess, so that when we're in positions of stress or pressure, we refer back to those rules so that we make decisions based on things that we decided when we were calm and composed. It was something that I implemented, I don't know how long ago now, 5 or 6 years ago, and since we've had them, it's made the business, it's just made it clearer. It enables my staff to make decisions without coming to management. It enables management to make decisions without coming to me, and it means that, provided we stick to the rules, that the business is a nicer place to work, and we don't, repeat behaviours that have hurt us in the past. So those values are on my YouTube or Waterpro's YouTube channel. If anyone wants to take a look at them, I don't have a issue with swearing in my day-to-day life, so if you've got sensitive ears, maybe don't go look at it, but it's so we've had them and they've changed the way we operate, and my guys will reference them all the time now, and we have customers referencing them as well, and customers understand our rules and where we stand. And then if we deselect a customer, we can usually reference those rules and explain why.
Very good. Did you want to share them?
The rules?
Yeah.
So I can share the ones that come to the top of mind. So there's one is... One is leopards and spots. Obviously, leopards don't change their spots. That's a reminder that if someone does something in a negative fashion towards you, that's likely they're going to do it again. If a staff member portrays certain behaviour, they're unlikely to change. If you've had a staff member leave for certain reasons, or you've had to, have a staff member exit because the company needs them to, they're generally not going to change. So probably best not to go back down the same path. I don't know which words I'm not allowed to say. What else have we got? Do the right thing. That one's really important. So we make decisions around things. Whenever we're doing anything, we make decisions around doing the right thing. So an example might be if we overcharge a customer accidentally, even if there's no chance that the customer will find out, or if the charge is quite minor, we'll rectify that by contacting the client and crediting them the difference and apologising. And most of the time they're like, it doesn't matter, it was only this much, but we consider that doing the right thing. Make money right, so we don't want to rip people off. So if our staff saw an opportunity to make more money by doing something that wasn't right, then we don't like that. One of the fun ones might be no dry humping. That's designed to remind staff that if a high value target customer that we've been chasing comes into the shop, try to remain calm and don't have the whole team go out there like a chihuahua at the front door when a guest comes around and dry hump.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that.
So, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say. There's one of our rules that's pretty well known is no dicks allowed. That is a reminder that if a staff member, a supplier or a customer acts like a dick to you or their staff or their wife or their kids, it's very likely they're going to do the same to you at some point. So we don't deal with people that act like that, and if someone acts like that once, leopards and spots, they're likely to do it again. So we either have a conversation with their superiors. If they're the business owner, it's generally not going to change, so then we make it less desirable to deal with us, and they generally deselect. What else have we got? I can't remember. They're written on the walls everywhere. We've got one, it's an F word, and it's a 4-letter word followed by the word normal. That's designed to remind people that I don't want us to be measured against normal, and that I hate when a staff member comes up and says, well, that's what the other companies are doing, or that's what these guys are doing, or Ali asked me a question earlier today about something in the market, and I just don't know, because I'm not looking at what other people are doing, because I don't want to measure myself against normal, because then we're likely to be normal plus 7% good. I'd rather just do the best we can do. So, but yeah, there's more, but you can find them online. So, yeah.
We'll find them online.
Yeah, go check out my YouTube channel.
Thank you.
try and get a plug in.
Yeah, get a plug. With your 12 immutable laws, I think it's something that you hire by as well, don't you?
Yep, definitely.
What's the values of Waterpro?
They're in our Seek ads. So when we're advertising for new employment, it's in the Seek ad to go look at that video. If you don't consider that you're in line with at least 8 to 10 of those values, no one's going to be completely in line with them, then it's probably not worth applying for the job.
So Clint, at Waterpro, I know that building relationships and trust with your teams is something that's so important to you. In fact, you've got a bit of a mission around connections. But what I would like to know is what sorts of development opportunities do your staff have at Waterpro and Railways and Warner?
Our business is, I guess, quite small. The 2 locations, Waterpro's got a team of 14 and Railways is a team of 10. So from a development opportunity, it could be seen that there's not a lot of opportunity for growth. The businesses are growing quite fast, so there's an opportunity for growth, but there's not necessarily structure there for an assistant to move into a management role and that kind of thing.
Your succession planning?
Yeah, because the roles aren't there. I mean, it's my intention to grow the company to $100 million of annual turnover, so with that's going to bring another, 375 required team members over the next 50 years, depending on how long it takes me to do this. So there's going to be opportunity there. I think at the moment it's more, because it's such an intimate team, and we're still operating in store because we have to, similar to probably pharmacy, like people come in and buy things. We do deliver, but my guys can't work from home. They can't stock shelves from home. They can't, serve customers. They could serve customers like this, but it's not, the society's not ready for that. So most of that succession planning or that mentor-mentee relationship or that training is still done hand-to-hand or face-to-face, which is what I love. And sadly, I guess the new restrictions around COVID-19 have made it a little bit harder, but it's still there. So.
Yeah. Great. And so this is for you as well, Clint. Excuse me. So with the 2 businesses, or 3 with Lawn Hub that you're running, and they're opposite ends of city, town, going south. When I'm talking about leadership, and I know we had a discussion about lighthouse leadership, but what does actually leadership mean to you, and how do you show up for your teams across multi-locations? So,
firstly, leadership for me, I guess, is setting an example and leading by example, and so I show up at each location regularly. It's been a challenge because we've split all locations up, so Railway staff members and Waterpro staff members can't interact with each other. They can't go to each location. We've got a 3rd location here in Kent Town where we've got all our administration and IT and media. They're not allowed to interact with each other in case we did have a case like National Pharmacies where we had a positive test for COVID-19, that we would shut everything down. So I'm trying to find balance between not being, the epicenter of a pandemic shutdown and me contaminating my whole company, and also still rocking up in some cases because I'm a required team member. So Railways had issues with staff that weren't able to work for a period because they were on the other side of the border before they came back. And when you've got a team of 10, we run a 7-day-a-week business, which I don't know if National Pharmacies fit into that same, you're trying to rotate a roster on a team of, so we've got 10 employed people We lost one straight away because he's 80 years old, so he's at home much to his disgust. And then we lost another one who was across the border, so he went into lockdown. And then we've had, as people have become unwell, they've gone for longer periods of time because we have to be more respectful of what they might be unwell with. So I guess my leadership style is to be there and be doing it. It's not going to serve me as well as the company grows, but right now it's perfect because the company's small enough that I can be there and set an example. And then obviously, like Brad was mentioning before, people are going to come to me, or I'm going to see it firsthand that this store is struggling with X, Y, and Z. The Waterpro Railways are two very different businesses. The demographic inside the stores are completely different. There's so much difference. So it's been quite interesting. But being there is probably the best thing for me from a leadership standpoint.
Yeah, awesome. I think showing up's always a good way to start there. So in terms of your own leadership style, do you have someone or many someones that you follow? Do you have a book that you've read? What is it that you model your leadership?
So the 12 Immutable Laws that we talked about before were taken from Mike Michalowicz's book, The Pumpkin Plan. Mm-hmm. That's a very valuable book for anyone that I guess is... It's probably for any stage of business, to be honest. I read that. I went through a period where I read a lot of books. Well, I don't read books. I listen to the audio, but I listened to a lot of books, probably 40 or 50 books over the period of a year, and then I felt like I got the gist of the entire world's books. There's only so many books the world can have, and I think we've run out, so that's it now. In saying that, I'll probably write a book and be one of the million. But you'll see Gary V stuff all here. Yeah. Gary V's style's probably most in line with mine, and I think it wasn't so much that I was necessarily learning from him. It was more that watching him and engaging with his content gave me permission to continue to be me. I think that for a lot of it, you read a book and then you change your leadership style because the book says that you should do this. I preferred that by listening to Gary V. I was like, hang on, I know what I'm doing. I just need to do it. So, but there's heaps of books, and there's the Pumpkin Plan book was really good. Mike Michalowicz is a good writer, he reads his own books as well, and so does Gary V. All his books are good.
So Clint, your top 3 tips, if you could go back in time and tell yourself or any upcoming leaders that you would like to share your top 3 tips with.
It's funny, Brad probably had similar issues as me. I've probably got about 400 tips for leaders, and because I'm so competitive, I'm like, well, I want my top 3 to be the best. But so
you're not going last.
So Alexi can come home strong and make us all look horrible. The first thing that came to mind, and something that I've really been focused on for at least probably 24 months, is to don't outsource your judgment. Now, that doesn't mean don't listen to people, and it doesn't mean don't take advice. Obviously, Brad mentioned before about using your ears and your mouth in the same ratio that they have been given to you, and that's something I have a massive issue with. And obviously, as you know, Ali, I have a coach that's helping me with such things. But I've recently bought another business, and I was given a lot of advice from people that are very intelligent, that I pay a lot of money to give me advice, and for a period I took their advice and against my judgment did something that I wasn't happy with, and it caused a lot of anxiety, and it got to a point where I just had to make my own calls. And if you're a leader, especially if you're the actual owner, if you're the owner, it's all on you, so you better be comfortable with your decisions. If you're a leader, you've been put in that position because people believe in you and they trust you, so they want you to make your decisions. So make your decisions, don't outsource your judgment. So that's number 1.
That's great, yeah.
I had transparency as a note before. Brad obviously stole that one off of my notes, but
that's already
so I won't use that one. But it was very much about empowerment and delegation. I think that something that I struggled with a lot when I was a younger leader, especially when I was leading people that were older than me, is that I struggled with communication with them, but delegating to people above me from an age standpoint or a time in the organisation standpoint. The same situation, if it's your business or you've been put in a position of leadership, there's a reason that you're there, and so I think people need to be comfortable to empower the staff that they lead, and then also delegate to them, and then just trust that it's been done. Too many people worry about delegating a task to someone and then following it up. I delegate so much every day and I never follow it up, and if 10% of it doesn't get done, I don't care. It's just, we're moving so fast and we're moving forward, and we just have to. I have to let some stuff fall off sometimes, so I can't worry about it. Otherwise, I'll go crazy. And then the third one's probably in line with the values. So I think it's really important to set a clear values for your company and what you expect from your people, clear direction for where the company is going, and then communicate that regularly. And that's something that we didn't do well at the start. We do now. It was interesting, Alexi mentioned before that they don't have sales targets. Is that we don't have KPIs around sales?
Nothing individual. We have some organisational targets.
Okay, so we don't either. Yeah, okay.
Everybody has a single target.
So we don't have individual targets either. We only have company targets, and everyone gets bonused based on the company success. And if the company doesn't hit the numbers, yeah. So I was like, well, that's interesting. No. We have the targets. We communicate them daily, and we have a similar stand-up meeting where we communicate them daily so that we can succeed together. So I guess communicate your values and your targets and your requirements clearly and regularly would be my third tip.
Beautiful. I love that. My mother used to always say, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them proportionately.
Yeah, I think my mum did too, but I never listened.
Whoops. And I think you mentioned here about setting your clear values for your organisation
Yep.
or your team, but I think something, and I know that you do this already, is actually setting some clear values for yourself. So what do you stand for as a leader, and what do you stand against as a leader, and how does that drive your own integrity and how you how you perform in your role.
Yep.
Love it. Thanks, Clint.
And we're out.